Have you ever been part of a toxic team? I mean, one of those teams that you just really didn't like being a part of. Maybe it was office politics, maybe a lot of gossip or backstabbing, and just drained you just to even be involved with that team. So dysfunctional. And then flip that switch. Maybe you were part of a team that energized you, that everyone was aligned and working together towards a common goal. And just being a part of that team was exciting, and you wanted to do your best to contribute and be part of that team. Well, creating an effective team requires effective communication. It's critical for a successful team. In order to have effective communication, we need to establish trust. There needs to be a level of comfort. And today we're going to be talking about how to cultivate effective communication with the team. And number one, we want to make sure that the team is fully in alignment. Number two, we're going to talk about ways to establish trust by opening up vulnerability. And then number three, we're going to be talking about how conflict can actually be a good thing in a team. So let's get started.
Welcome to Growth Amplifiers, where we showcase the best tips, resources, and tools to amplify and scale your business.
First thing is you want to make sure that your team is aligned. This can be done by sharing and enforcing the values of your business, sharing the vision, mission, and purpose, and leading with integrity. See, that our values of a business aren't just something that should be on your website or be in the orientation when you're hiring someone. It should be how the culture operates. Everyone who is part of the team should share the aligned values. That's how you can make sure that everyone's on the same playing field. It will help to attract the right clients and customers. It will help attract the right team members, and it'll make sure that everyone is following the same playbook. Being able to share the vision for the business, where are we going, the why behind what we do, the bigger purpose, the mission, being able to share the purpose and how we actually achieve these things. All of those elements that might seem superficial can help to align a team so that everyone knows what the objective is, everyone knows how we're showing up, and it cultivates that team culture. It's important that you practice what you preach, because if you're sharing this is what you want, you need to make sure that you're living to the values, that you're taking actions that are moving towards the vision, mission. And it all starts with good leadership. Having and taking the time to define these things, share with your team, enroll them in it, and then lead by example. If you haven't done so already, take time to document your values, your vision, mission, and purpose, and share with your team. Maybe you already have these things documented. If that's the case, share with your team again. Re-enroll them. It's not something you do once, it's something that you continually do to ensure that everyone's on the same page. Disney has a term called over-communication. They over-communicate certain principles on how they want their employees to show up, and then that's how they show up. Imagine that. When people continually are supported with what the expectations are, they'll follow and lead to those expectations. If you ever visit Disney, you'll notice there's not trash or mess around the property. That's one of the things that they've over-communicated. They have that clear expectation, and so it's not tolerated. So think what would be possible if you clearly communicated the values, vision, mission, and purpose and expectations to the team, enrolled them in that, and made sure that everyone understood the expectations. You could transform the business and its culture and reignite people's passion, perseverance. So take the time to do this if you haven't already. If you have defined it already, assess even one way that you can improve what you have, and then make sure that you're taking the time to share. I'm going to turn the page now. We're going to talk about trust. For a team's foundation, a successful team's foundation is built upon trust. If you don't have a trust in the team, there's going to be gossip, there's going to be politics, there's going to be backstab, it's going to be demotivating. To build trust, we must get people to understand and see each other working towards that common goal. And then also open up some vulnerability. When everyone feels comfortable enough to be vulnerable and expose their weaknesses, that creates some transformation. There is a book by Brené Brown that really hammers on this point, and she talks about the power of vulnerability amongst the team, amongst leadership. And once you know that this starts with leadership. So you'd want to cultivate first a safe place and have a meeting and share maybe some shortcomings, share some personal background. And you don't have to get too personal, but just sharing maybe these are some of the habits that I'm looking to get better on. Here's some of the ways that I'm looking to improve. Here's some skills that I'd like to develop further. Everyone's sharing. Everyone gets to see, all right, we're here. We all have our own weaknesses. We all have our own challenges. It humanizes the conversation. Another Another book that I like, Positive Intelligence, talks about we all have saboteurs or mindset, beliefs, and habits that can sabotage us. And it helps to cultivate this vulnerability by having us sharing our faults, our weaknesses, and shortcomings, which again humanizes the team and reduces the politics. This is best facilitated with somebody who has the experience of guiding a team through this sharing exercise. When people can see each other, understand that everyone has their own challenges, it lowers the threat and opens up the dialogue to have more deeper, meaningful conversations. And then we can build upon that, a stronger, more effective team. All right, now we're talking about the third element here, encouraging healthy conflict. There's a book, Fierce Conversations, and it talks about how it's important to be able to have conflict. If people have different opinions and they can debate, they can sometimes come up with a better solution. Not a fight, a debate. Sharing ideas and different perspectives. If someone has an idea and no one counters it, maybe the boss has an idea, right? No one counters it, they're just like, yes, whatever you say. Then someone can move forward with a horrible idea that everyone was like, yeah, that was the worst idea ever, but they didn't say anything. And that doesn't help anyone. Sometimes people might have their own idea that would have been really great had they shared their thoughts. But because they didn't want to offend anyone or they didn't want to impose, they kept their mouth shut and it hindered the team. If we have trust, if we really can understand each other, we'd feel comfortable in sharing our thoughts and having healthy conflicts leading to a better solution. There was one time I was facilitating a strategic planning session with a company, and this was a small business that was managed by a family, the husband, the wife, and the son. And I was getting them to share their ideas on ways that they can improve their business. And the father, he first started off sharing that he wanted his wife and his son to share their ideas. He's like, we're having this session facilitated on our behalf. Please share your ideas. It would be great if you can just let them come out, whatever your ideas are. We need you to step up and contribute. This is what we're here for. And so slowly but surely, the son started speaking up. The wife started sharing her ideas. And then the husband went all control freak and started telling the son that his ideas really didn't make a lot of sense. He kind of focused and communicated that the wife was always trying to make things more complicated, and he squashed their ideas. He didn't come up with such a way that was, hey, let me share my perspective on these. Let's come to a meeting point. He just squashed their ideas. So there's definitely an ineffective way to have conflict if you're just putting someone else's ideas down. This ended up getting his wife and his son just to clam up, and they just weren't speaking for a while. I had to call out the husband, the father, and tell him, because he asked me to hold him accountable too, that the way he communicated to his son and wife didn't help foster them to want to continue to contribute. Because he started getting frustrating that they weren't adding more ideas. And it's because he squashed them when they did. A game that you could use to change this pattern comes from the Positive Intelligence program. It's called the Yes and Game. And how you play it is you'll hear someone's idea that they share, and then you'd find at least 10% of the idea that you like. You find at least something from the idea that you can like about it and communicate what you like about it, and then share your idea or a counter thought. This not only helps the person who shared the idea in the first place feel heard and acknowledged, it also can lead to more creative solutions. So let me give you an example. Let's say someone said that they had an idea for launching a new product. They said, we're going to do a new social media advertising campaign because I've seen someone else do it and it can work. Now, the next person who might be speaking to that, if they weren't following this plan, they could say, oh, that's going to waste a lot of money. You can blow through thousands of dollars on social media and not get any result. I don't think we can afford doing that. And that might squash someone's idea or get them to become defensive, and that's not going to help anyone out. Now, following the yes and game, you might say something like, yes, what I like about your idea is, and then share what you like about that idea. I like the idea that you're thinking about advertising and getting our message to our market. And another thing that we can consider is marketing to our existing customers first, because we haven't done that. And that may be a way that we can grow some revenue in our existing customers and clientele. So yes and game is a really positive way that you can have people ideate, have people communicate into an ideas of sharing that avoids people feeling like they're being squashed or they're not being acknowledged, finding what you like about the idea that was shared, and then sharing your idea that can contribute and add to it. So do you agree? Do you think that would be a great idea for you and facilitating meetings for your team? Love to hear your thoughts on that. And here's the amplified action. Have your team share the top challenges that they perceive coming from internal communications. You can have them do this anonymously. You can ask them one-to-one. You could do it in a team meeting. And then I want you to share right now if there's any techniques that you'd recommend to cultivate effective communication in a team. If you have an idea that you know works, put it in the comments. Love to see that. In our next video, I'll be sharing how to take a business to the next level in 7 key steps. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep on amplifying.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.